it's Miss Martin. Welcome back. So for today's read aloud, we will be continuing with our book, What Would She Do? It's about 25 stories of trailblazing rebel women. For today's read aloud, we will not be continuing to read about Frida Kahlo. Instead, we will be reading about another woman who has created change within her country and around the world. So I want you guys to remember, while we are reading our essential inquiry. Our essential inquiry is, how do you describe a hero? What is a hero? So I'm asking you guys to define, what does it mean to be a hero? Our reading can help you answer that question. Our reading from today and our reading from these past 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, can also help you answer this question. How do we describe a hero? This question also connects to your writing project this week. So that's my whole idea, is that we're connecting our reading with our writing and being better able to understand and define what is a hero. As we're reading, you're going to remember that question, as well as we're going to work on 2 skills. The 2 skills that we worked on yesterday, we're going to be working on today. So the first one was about a person's outer appearance and what they look like. What was that called? Maybe take a moment and think about it. That was called how to determine or identify, describe a person's external characteristics, what they look like on the outside. We worked on another skill. It has a similar name. It's about the inside, though. That one was internal characteristics. If you want to pause this real quick and write this down, you might want to do that. How a person is on the inside. That's how I remember internal characteristics. Because of the I-N, inside. So how a person is on the inside. Okay, and we're going to be working on this chart again today after I'm done with the reading. Okay, so let's see who we're going to read about today. We are going to read about Miss Wangari Maathai. So I actually Googled it to make sure I was pronouncing her name correctly. It's Maathai. Miss Wangari. We're first going to start off with one of the skills. We're going to look at the external characteristics, what they look like on the outside. So let's do that real quick. Let's look at this picture that they display of Miss Maathai. If you look very closely, you will see that I am dressed similar to her. We have, the way I would describe it is she's very vibrant. That means very colorful and bright. She has a lot of different patterns. So that would be a way for, so an example, if I were to do my chart, I would write that she was bright. And then my evidence, I have to give some proof. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to write down 3 words to describe her. After writing down those 3 words, you're going to tell me, how were you able to make that inference that, or describe her this way? So for example, I said, patterns. There's a lot of different patterns. So I was going to write she was unique. That would be my example. That would be a word I would use to describe her. The evidence is she wore different patterns. Now what Miss Martin has is she needs 2 more words and 2 more pieces of evidence to describe how Miss Maathai looked on the outside. So one more time, I'm gonna say the assignment. You are going to pause your video now so you can see this picture of this Mathai, and then you are going to, so pause it, and then after you're done, while you paused it, you're going to do this. You're going to fill out 2 more words to describe her and 2 more pieces of evidence. Okay, pause the video and do that chart. Okay, now let's begin reading about her and see how we can answer this part. Internal characteristics. How is she on the inside? Wangari Maathai. Wangari Maathai is known as the mother of trees. But did you know that it's because she was responsible for the planting of 50 million of them? It's an astonishing feat, but just one of the many great things that Wangari achieved during her lifetime. If she saw something wrong, she tried to fix it, and her efforts were recognized with one of the greatest honors of modern times. She received, or got, the Nobel Peace Prize. So let's read a little bit about her background and her life story. Wangari Maathai was born in a village in the central highland of Kenya in Africa. She started school when she was 8, and she was a talented student. She moved to a Catholic boarding school in Nairobi 3 years later. After coming top of the class again, she went to high school. Then in 1960, she got the chance to study in America, thanks to a program began by Kennedy before he became president. Wangari returned to Kenya 6 years later with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in biological sciences. So then she must have stopped studying, right? Not exactly. Wangari worked as an assistant professor at the University College of Nairobi, got married, had a son, and then became the first East African woman to be awarded a PhD in veterinarian anatomy shortly before having a daughter. Boom! Okay, so right there, this is where I would already, and after reading about that, I found a internal characteristic. How Miss Maathai is on the inside. How would I describe her? What word would I use to describe her? Well, first off, I'm going to start off with some evidence. So if I were to give you guys some evidence, if I were to say this, it said that she got her master's and bachelor's. She got a college degree. First, we have her bachelor's, and then she was able to get her master's afterwards. So she had an extra 6 years of college after high school. With that evidence, how would I describe her? What type of word or adjective would I use to describe her? I would use intellectual. She was very smart. You have to be very smart to go to college and then move up and then go to get your master's afterwards. It also said that she was the first East African woman to be awarded a PhD. So what word would I use to describe her if she was the first woman, East African woman, to be awarded a PhD? I want you to think about that. What word would I use? To be the first woman to be awarded a PhD. She is very smart to get a PhD. That's after getting your master's. That's about 4 more years of college. So that's in total 10 more years after high school. I would say that she was brave. She's very brave to go on this journey to be the first East African woman. Another word I would use to describe her is determined. She is determined to continue her education, which is very heartwarming to me. I love to hear stories about that, where people are continuing their education for the good of society. Let's see what she does with her education. Seems like she's going to do something with this education to get so much of it. Okay, so her academic career continued, and Wangari became the first woman in Nairobi to reach senior position at a university. So basically, she became a professor at the university. Meanwhile, she campaigned successfully for equal benefits for women at the university, aware that Kenya was suffering from deforestation, water, and food shortages, and that animals were disappearing. She joined a number of organizations in an effort to address these issues. What I'm thinking right now is there something else that another way that I could describe, or another characteristic that I could use, another adjective that I could use to describe Miss Wangari. If you guys can think about it, maybe think of some evidence, proof. So take a moment, do it by yourself, fill out the example, a word that you would use to describe her, and then evidence. Pause it. What I'm thinking is the word that first I have the evidence, what she did. So it told me that she was the first woman to have a senior position at a university. So that means that she was a teacher, almost like she was a principal at the university. So for her to have a senior position at the university, I would say that she was very hardworking or motivated. She was motivated to change something in education and make sure she was in charge. She could help to change and help people become more educated. Okay, so what I want you guys to do now it's your turn. You are going to come up with, so Miss Martin did 3 different words or 3 different adjectives to describe Wangari. Now I'd like you to come up with 3 different adjectives to describe her internally. So you're not going to use mine. You're going to make your own, and you're going to give me an evidence why you said that she was this word. So I said she was intellectual because she got her master's degree and her bachelor's degree. Why did I say that she was brave and determined? Because she was the first woman to get her PhD in Africa. Why did I say that she was hardworking and motivated? Because she was the first woman in Nairobi to have a senior position at university. So you guys are going to do 3 adjectives, 3 ways to describe her, and then you have to have 3 pieces of evidence, okay? That is your assignment for today's reading. Thank you, and I hope you guys have a great Wednesday.